In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Thai business class. As ever, we'll check out the cabin, the lounge, the food, and as part of the video, I'll look up longingly at a champagne bottle whilst enjoying an orange juice. Let's get into it. My journey that afternoon started off in beautiful Bangkok as I transited to Suvarnabhumi International Airport for my date with Thai. Now, this was something that I was really looking forward to. I've never flown Thai long haul before in the past, and even better so to kick off in their business class. It was something I was really excited for. When it came to first impressions, they very much impressed. I thought the little check-in area for the business class was absolutely fab. It was nice to be able to sit down and take your time and enjoy many of the nice surroundings before then going through priority security. Well, that was such a seamless check-in experience. Silky smooth, you could say. Bad joke, I know. But yeah, really smooth experience to get started. Check-in, absolutely wonderful, one of the most comfortable ones I've ever had, and now it's just down to the lounge. After such a good check-in process, it's fair to say that Thai followed up very well. Indeed, I accessed the lounge around 12 o'clock, midday, but was actually in it for around 6 or 7 hours. So we'll see a really good spread throughout the day. We'll see whether it gets a little bit busier later into the day itself. At that moment in time, I was really very hungry for some lunch, so food was the main order of the day. Now, thankfully, as part of the lounge, it's really sizable. They had a number of different food stations, which also included live cooking stations. Additionally, I got a quick grab and go on this occasion from the buffet, but it was good to see that variety in place. On the drinks front, there was plenty of choice here too. Yes, there were a number of fridges where you could head on up and grab what you wanted. Beyond that though, there were a number of bars throughout the lounge, and I must say the staff was so friendly and such a pleasure to engage with. On the bar front, that's all for now. I promise we'll check that out a little bit later into the evening, but for now, we'll head up to one of those live cooking stations. I thought personally that this was a great little touch as part of the lounge. It's not just the theatre that a live cooking station brings, but it's the fact that you get something cooked fresh in front of you. It's nice and warm in your plate or bowl, which is so much better than an awful lot of buffets you see around the world in lounges where the food can often be sat around for a little while and goes a little bit tepid. As ever when you're flying, it's great to have a little look behind the curtain at what could well be awaiting you if you do upgrade a little bit further. Next time there was a separate section of the lounge for Royal First Class, and that no doubt is something that would be really interesting to try one day. For now, I'm going to head on up, get a little bit of exercise, then we'll check out the evening together in the lounge. I must say, the atmosphere up at the bar did strike Paradise Island vibes. The drinks that were on offer, just the names of them, really brought memories of Phuket back. The staff did a wonderful job at serving and making the experience extra special. From there, it was then back to those live cooking stations for a very light dinner because we will be eating on board, but that summed up what was really a wonderful food and drinks experience in the evening in the lounge. Now, just before heading down to the gate, it was time for a quick freshen up and then getting on our way. What I would say finally, however, about the lounge is that if you are thinking of flying with Thai and transiting through Bangkok as part of the experience, I'd highly recommend it. This lounge was absolutely superb. I thought the shower facilities, the food, the drinks, everything was laid on really nicely, and not at any moment did the lounge really get particularly busy at all, which was great. Alrighty, so what an awesome time that was in the lounge. Nicely freshly showered and ready to jump on this late flight bound for Bengaluru. Can't wait to get on board. From there I was heading out to the S-Gates for the very first time at Bangkok. I'd never been out to this side of the airport before. It felt ever so slightly newer than the rest of the airport, and as ever with Bangkok, some great things on display. So that's a very nice new part of the terminal here. Reach gate I've almost got to, so can't wait to jump on. Just before doing so, I should say if this is your first time tuning into the channel, we've got so much more similar content on the channel from likes of British Airways, Qatar Airways, just the name but a few. So if this sort of thing is your thing, hit that subscribe button, and YouTube will help you keep fully up to date with all of the channel's weekly uploads. For now, we're almost there. Let's head on. Alright, so Thai, long haul for the very first time on the channel, we'll be boarding onto an Airbus A350. Now typically these aircraft, because they're so new, do generally have the best cabins that the airlines have to offer. In terms of what Thai offered here, it was good, but it wasn't phenomenal. Here seats laid out in a 1-to-1 configuration, ensuring all passengers had direct aisle access. Of course, and as ever, went for one of the window seats. What I would recommend here is if you are sat by the windows, get one of the ones that's offset closer to the window, not the aisle. They're more private and you get a better view as well. What I liked about the cabin's design, however, is that there were no real bad seats, which is always a good sign. Now, awaiting passengers back at the seats was a water bottle, nothing major. It's these little touches that do really make a big difference in the premium cabins. No amenity kits, I would say, but this was ultimately a regional flight across Asia, so I would expect them to offer these on a slightly longer flight. In terms of charging options, yeah, it's pretty good on this front. 2 USB ports within very easy reach, and then more of a universal plug adapter available just down near the floor. One aspect that I do look out for in this day and age is how intuitive a seat is to operate. Inevitably, as seats get more modern and more technologically advanced, they can be a little bit trickier to work out and indeed operate. This seat, super straightforward to use, even though it's my first time sat in it, and I was a big fan of the couple of additional lighting options that were available, as you can see here as the cabin lights start to darken. Now I have to say, one aspect that was the cause for a little bit of intrigue and indeed confusion was what you see here on screen. Now, on the face of it, I actually thought that this was some sort of suite door that provided additional privacy, and actually, to be honest, it did do that. Its true function was a table. I'm not sure if they deliberately designed it like this so it could have the dual function, but that's something that we'll take a look at a little bit later. Now, in no time at all, the pre-flight service was kicking off. I had a warm towel and also an orange juice. That's us on board with Thai. Just orange juice so far, but I've just heard the corks popping, so hopefully some champagne to follow. And this is perhaps where a couple of negatives started to seep in. That champagne bottle never really made its way around the cabin. Not quite sure what happened to that, but I'd have been well up for a champagne at that time in the evening. And also the cabin itself on closer inspection was starting to look a little bit old. More on that later, but these were aspects that were definitely more noticeable as time went on. For now, we'll push back and we'll get on our way to Bengaluru. I have to say, it was a beautiful night as we departed Bangkok International Airport, heading for those gorgeous Thailand skies. Now, we'll kick off all things in-flight review, firstly with a look at the onboard entertainment. Now, as you'd have seen, as we boarded, ahead of us in the seat itself was a really large TV screen. Now, although the user interface was a little bit more dated, this was fast, responsive, the screen was very crisp, so everything you could want on this front. In terms of content, it seemed to have a number of new releases, so no complaints just there. If you did fancy sitting a little bit further back in the seat, you can control everything using the handheld device, and the entertainment was paired with a really nice high quality pair of headphones. There was even some little covers that you could affix over them for an additional comfort. I thought this was a decent little touch. On the Wi-Fi front, however, not so positive. They did have a Wi-Fi portal, so I assume it would usually be working. I, however, couldn't access it throughout the duration of the flight. On the bathrooms front, nothing particularly special. The bathrooms, however, were modern and kept clean throughout the duration of the journey. There were some little lotions and potions courtesy of the eau de toilette, and I quite liked how the bathrooms put together from a colour scheme point of view. There was, however, one feature that was a little bit different, and that was the fact that the bin, which can always be such a pain, opened automatically. That was a good touch. Alrighty, so onwards and upwards, time for the food. This is the moment of the flight, quite frankly, that I've been looking forward to the most. Thai is by far and above my favourite cuisine in the world. To see the red chicken curry there really got me excited. In terms of the menu, this isn't quite as large as something you'd expect on a longer flight, and that was more than fair enough. I think for a flight of this duration, around 3.5 hours, it was absolutely perfect. I kicked off the dining experience, however, with a very good glass of red wine. The crew did ever such a good job of dressing up the wine service. They came out with the bottles, presented them to you. This is an aspect that you don't see too often. It's something that I really appreciated. So for the first time in this review, here is the table indeed being used as a table. It's really very sizable. In the end, it could be swung backwards and forwards, so maybe you could just about have got out the seat during meal times as well. Just before the food came around, there was then a ramekin of nuts, which paired very nicely with the pre-dinner selection of drinks, but it wasn't long before the table was dressed and the food was then brought around. Now, a little confession between me and all of you, I got so excited finally with my red Thai chicken curry on this trip that I didn't film a great deal of it, slightly distracted there by the fantastic cutlery. What I would say, however, about the food service, in all seriousness, is that it was fantastic. Everything you'd expect from a Thai meal service, being a lover of Thai food. That, paired with the red wine, got me in a very sleepy mood. I couldn't wait to test out the bed. What I would say about this bed is that it's by far and above not the most spacious nor the most fancy one I've ever brought to you, but what I would say is it's by far and above the most comfortable, and that was without some of the additional extras they may have handed round on a longer transcontinental flight, such as a mattress. It was incredibly comfortable, lots of knee room, 10 out of 10 on that front from Thai. So that's all from Thai Business Class today. Really hope you enjoyed the video. As ever, would love to hear what you think down in the comments below. Do remember to like the video and follow along to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another one real soon.